Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I'll be discussing what I thought of that latest and most shocking episode of The Walking Dead. Wow, my brain is still wrapping around it, and before I keep talking and divulge any spoilers, of course, please be warned, if you're not caught up on The Walking Dead by this episode or this season, do not keep watching or listening, as I will be going into giant spoilers, so you have been warned. That being said, let's jump right into it. Wow, did not see that coming. Of course, I'm referring to the final few minutes of tonight's episode when throughout the whole episode, in fact, throughout the whole season, Sadiq has been struggling with PTSD and just endless nightmares regarding the night Alpha and the Whisperers brutally murdered and beheaded several characters last season, where Sadiq was the only one left alive to bring the story and message of horror to the other allied communities, and he's had to live with it ever since then. And it's so typical of The Walking Dead to do this too. It's like a character is struggling immensely with something that is so heavy and weighing on them, and then like just when they think they have found a way to move forward or a way to figure out how to live with it or deal with it, the inevitable happens, which is death or tragedy in this case. And it's so bad too, because Rosita was the first person Sadiq was able to open up to and finally talk about what went down that night and how badly it was affecting and bothering him. And Rosita was there to like kind of be like his rock basically, and tell him that, you know, you need to be strong for her, for their baby Coco, for everyone else in the community, and that he'll get through this. And then up until the shocking reveal at the end, even Dante was trying to do that. Now at first I couldn't figure out if Sadiq was accidentally responsible for the water handle mishap where everyone was drinking bad water, or if that was deliberate sabotage by someone. And when he put the dots together and realized that it was Dante who was the one who was forcing him to watch Alpha murder all of his friends last season when he was making the clicking noise, that of course answered that question. So I think it's safe to assume Dante is obviously a whisperer, and he's also the one who sabotaged the water supply in Alexandria. Excuse me. My apologies. And of course, Sadiq realized that, but unfortunately, sorry, it was just too little too late. And it seems like it was a little unclear if he put Sadiq in a headlock or if he choked him to death. I mean, The Walking Dead usually does a pretty good job confirming or letting you know when someone is definitely 100% dead. And I feel like Sadiq is kind of up in the air. So until next week, I'm not ready to put him on the death count just yet. Although I was just thinking to myself earlier as the episode was going on, I'm like, we haven't had a major character death in a while. And sure enough, the final couple minutes of this episode, they might have killed Sadiq. But yeah, wow. I mean, it's so interesting too, because I felt like, you know, this episode was pretty good, but I also felt like it wasn't as good as the others. But it wasn't until the final 5 or 10 minutes when that shocking reveal was made and Sadiq finally clearly remembers from something from the night of the massacre that Dante was there and he was in whisperer form. Because at first I thought Sadiq was just hallucinating, imagining that whisperer being behind his back, and he was going to lash out and be surprised that it's just Dante standing there. But then it's when it's revealed that he's making the same clicking noise as he did when he was forcing him to watch his friends die. It's like, oh shit, Dante was there. He was the whisperer forcing Sadiq to watch. Oh my god. You know, and I wasn't too surprised with the revelation that it was the water that was making everyone sick. I figured it was either whisperer sabotage, or maybe it was something else in the water that was just making everyone ill. So that wasn't too shocking, although it was nice that they gave us that confirmation. A little unclear about what the relationship or the story is with Gamma and Aaron, if they're supposed to be feeding each other intel, or if they formed this weird respectable or respectful relationship up until, you know, she tried holding a knife at his throat. I also love the direction Carol's going, where she's just becoming reckless and a bit foolhardy and frankly dangerous, but not dangerous inadvertently towards her allies, but definitely dangerous towards the Whisperers. Because I had a bad feeling that, at first I thought, oh, the Whisperer is genuinely enjoying this jelly jam bread slice, and that's why he's crying, because he's breaking down because he hasn't tasted something this sweet in so long. And then when he spits it all over, I'm like, oh, never mind. He was being a cold-hearted prick. Man, those Whisperers are conditioned. And I love how they were showing us how it seems conflicted Gamma is, because it's like Erin is trying to bring her humanity back to the surface, where she keeps trying to push it down from before it bubbles up and becomes too much for her. And now that she's seen that Lydia is alive, and Lydia has run off after thinking Carol only used her to get to the Whisperers, it'll be interesting to see if Lydia rejoins the ranks of the Whisperers, or if she just runs off in the woods on her own. Will Carol and Erin try to go after her? Will Daryl go after her? We'll have to find out in next week's episode. And speaking of next week's episode, it's the big dreaded mid-season finale. That's right. This will be the last episode of the year, just for this year, until the show returns most likely in February for its usual winter hiatus. So next week is the mid-season finale, and the show will return with 8 brand new episodes for the first half of 2020. So what did you guys think of tonight's episode? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you expecting more, expecting less? For a while there, I felt like a lot really wasn't happening. I mean, I liked it, but it wasn't really, the most gripping episode, I thought, even though I completely sympathized and felt super sorry for Sadiq the whole time. And hats off to Avi Nash for an incredible performance. And if that was your last performance, well, thank you for your contribution to The Walking Dead. But until the final couple minutes there with that shocking twist and reveal, I was like, oh, this episode just isn't doing much for me. But the ending completely made up for that, and in fact the ending made the episode great. So I actually did really enjoy this episode, because the ending helped the rest of the episode make so much more sense. At least it did to me, if that makes sense to you guys. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your night. The Walking Dead Season 10 mid-season finale airs next Sunday night on AMC. Don't miss it, and be sure to check back to this channel for my episode review and reaction of that next Sunday. Have a great rest of the night, and of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.